Hello everyone, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Jenny. If this is your first time in my channel, thank you for stopping by, and also make sure to join this supportive family. And also thank you to my host subscribers for your support. I love you guys. Today's video is the cutting and the sewing of this lovely gown I'm putting on right here. So let's get started. Welcome again, soulmates. These are the materials that will be needed for today's tutorial. As you can see right here, I have this 3.5 yard of duchess material. You can actually use crepe, and you can use 3 to 4 yards for this tie. And also I have this African print. Here with me is 6 yards, but I used 1.5. It's also known as Ankara. I also have this little piece of lining with me. First of all, guys, I have to analyze the style for you guys for easy understanding. So my full gown length is 41. That is how long I want this gown to be, from the shoulder to the hem. And also you can see that it has a yoke which started from the shoulder all the way to the bust point. So my bust point right there is 9.5. So I actually subtracted 9.5 from my full gown length. You can also see it has a ruffle. Now for that ruffle, I want the length of that ruffle to be 10 inches. Yes, after attaching it to the flare, I want it to be 10 inches. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract it from 31.5, so which gave me 21.5. So that is the length of the flare. That is how long the flare is going to be. So it depends on you how long you want yours to be. So what I did, I started by ruling out my starting line, and this right here is my center front. Just go ahead and divide your shoulder measurement by 2. After dividing, then you add 1 inch to it. Then from that part you come down by 1/2 inch. Then from the 1/2 inch, go down by your armhole length. We know how to get our armhole length, which is bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So what I did again is from the shoulder I went down by my bust point, which is 9.5. Then I added 1 inch sewing allowance to it. So go ahead and connect your armhole length like so. So what I'm going to do on the chest line, just go ahead and divide your bust measurement by 4, then add your sewing allowance to it, which I added 2 inches. Then go ahead and curve out your armhole. On this particular pattern, I'm not going to be going in by 1/2 inch on the armhole. So for the neck width is 3 inches. Then for the neck depth, I came down by 3.5. So you can also see it has a slit at the front, so I came down by 3.5 for the slit. So your own can actually have a zipper or a slit at the back, but I don't want a slit at the back, neither a zipper. So what I did right at the chest line, whatsoever you have there, you just come down and place it on the bust point. So I'm also going to be cutting it out, and this pattern I'm going to be using it to cut out for the back. So remember, the back does not have a zip, so just go ahead and place the front like so, then you cut it out, but don't cut out the shoulder slope. So after cutting, guys, you see what I have. So this is the shoulder slope. I went ahead to trace it out with my marker, just for me to be able to draw out my back neckline. So for the neck depth, I used 1.5. Then the neck width is still the same thing with that of the front, which is 3 inches. Then after that, you just go ahead and cut it out. After cutting, guys, this is the patterns for the front and the pattern for the back. So I'll go ahead and cut it on my fabrics. After cutting, this is what it looks like. This is the front on the fabric, and it also have a lining, and this is the back on the fabric, and this is also the back for the lining. Coming to the front of the yoke, you can see that this fabric, you can actually tell where the wrong side is from the right side. So I went ahead to indicate that. Then I placed my lining at the right side of the fabric. So then go ahead and stitch up the neckline like so. The bottom of it should be left open. So also for the back yoke, I did the same thing. I placed my lining on the right side of the fabric, then go ahead and stitch up the neckline. So after stitching, guys, you can see what I have right here. Then go ahead and make notches on the neckline. So after making the notches, I'm just going to be turning it out to the right side. So after turning, you have to give it a very good press so that the neckline can relax properly. You can see what it is, guys. So right now, just go ahead and top stitch on this part. And also for the back yoke, I'm also going to be notching the neckline like so. Then after notching, go ahead and turn it out. Then you top stitch at this part. So guys, after giving it a good press and I've top stitch, you can see how it looks like both in and out. So you can see. So let's keep it aside and work on the flare part. So for the flare, I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into two. So to fold it, I'm using this paper as an illustration. I folded this paper into two like so. So you can see the sides are open because we are going to be having our seam at the side, and we're also going to be attaching our pocket at the side. So when folding your fabric for this flare, which is 180-degree flare, for this kind of style, the side should be left open. To get the radius, you're just going to bring out your yoke, then measure at that bust area. Whatsoever you have, you're just going to place it right like this. From the tip, you're just going to measure what you have right there. Then you take it all round like you see me doing. After taking it all round, you are just going to place your flare length like so, and also make sure to cross check to see if the radius part actually meet up with your bust measurement and plus the allowance. But don't worry if you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm going to be taking it over again on my fabric. So right as you can see, I went ahead to measure it. What I have is 11.75. Then I placed it just like this, the way I explained earlier. Just going to mark a straight line like so. So after marking the straight line from the tip, I came down. Then whatever I have right here, I'm going to be taking it to the middle and to the other side, just for us to have that curve, that curvy effect at the bust point. See what I'm doing like so. So after doing that, just go ahead and measure out if it's still up to your bust measurement plus your allowance. So you can see me doing right here. So it's up to, so what I have is still 11.75. So we are good to go. So right now, the flare length, we are working with is 21.5 plus my sewing allowance of 1 inch, which is 22.5. So I'm just going to be placing it all round like this, as you see me doing. So after placing it, just go ahead and cut it out. So after cutting, guys, just because this video is already getting too long, so after cutting, this is what we have. We have 2 of it for the front and for the back. So now for the front, I brought my flare for the front, then I notched the middle, then also on the yoke, the front yoke, I also notched the middle. So I'm going to be placing it like this, right side facing and middle to middle. Then go ahead and sew it down with 1/2 inch. I'm also going to be doing the same thing for the back. Just going to be notching the middle, then place it right side facing and also place it at the middle of each other. Then you go ahead and stitch it down. So after stitching, guys, you can see what we have right now. I know you might be surprised that this video is so fast, but I am sorry because I don't want it to be too long. I don't really want this video to be too long, but don't worry, you will get to understand each and everything I am explaining. I went ahead to cut out this long strip of fabric. I cut out 2 of it, that is for the front and for the back. It's going to be used as a ruffle at the bottom of the gown. The length of this fabric is 14 inches, which I later trimmed it up to 13.5. So I actually needed 10 inches to complete the length of my gown. But just go ahead and add extra 3.5 inches. 1.5 inches for the ruffles at the top part. 1 inch for turning the down part. And 1 inch for turning the top part of the ruffle. So to get the width for this fabric, just go ahead and measure round the down part of the flare. So after measuring, what I got was 63 inches for the front, and also for the back I got 63 inches. Then 63 inches plus 63 inches, making 126 inches. Then 126 inches, multiply it by 2, or you can multiply it by 3 to get the fullness of the ruffle. It depends how much fabric you have. Then what you're going to do next, just go ahead and fold in the top and the bottom. So after folding, guys, you can see what it looks like. I came down by 1.5. So that is the line you are seeing, like so. You're actually going to be making gathers on that line. So this is the sleeve. So for the sleeve, the length of this fabric is 17 inches and the wideness is 29 inches. So I'm demarcating the wrong side from the right side. Just go ahead and fold your sleeve into 2 like so. The both sleeves. So after folding, you're just going to make a slant S, just like this. Don't make it so deep, just a slant S. You can see me doing it. You don't actually need any measurement or anything because we're actually going to be pleating the top of the sleeve. So for the bottom part of the sleeve, we are going to be inserting an elastic to it. So this is the elastic I'll be using. So to do that, just watch carefully what I am doing. So you're just going to fold it first, then you're going to fold it again like this, then pin it down. Now as you are folding, you will stitch along. So just fold and stitch along like this. Don't stitch on the elastic so that it will be easy for you to pull through. You can see what I'm doing. Just stitch on the fabric alone. So let's take it to the sewing machine and stitch it down. So going to be doing it for the other sleeve. So this is me on the sewing machine. Go ahead and stitch that part down so that you'll be able to secure the elastic to prevent it from going into the elastic casing. So after that, going to push in your elastic like the way I'm doing like this. Then you stitch along. Don't stitch on the elastic so that you'll be able to pull the elastic. If you stitch on the elastic, you will not be able to pull. So you can see what I have. Just go ahead and cut out the thread. So after cutting the thread, just go ahead and pull out the elastic like this. You can see what I have right here. So go ahead and take in your bicep measurement. Mine is 13 inches divided by 2. I had 6 inches. Then I'm going to subtract 1.5 because this is going to have an elastic. So 1.5, I have 5 inches, and I'm also going to be stitching it close like so. So I need allowance to stitch it close. So I'm going to add 1 inch to half an inch for the stitching allowance. So what I have was 5.5. So you can see what I'm doing. So just go ahead and measure that part to see if it's up to what you have. Mine is 5.5. I just went ahead to stitch it down because I've gotten my 5.5. So that is how to place your elastic. It's very easy, right? At the side, I'm just going to be sewing it close by half an inch, just like so. So we are done with the sleeve right here. So all we needed is just to attach it to our dress. So that is it, guys. So the next thing is for me to attach the ruffles. Now to attach the ruffles, so you can see how I gathered my ruffles. I actually used needle and thread. So you can use your machine depending how you normally do your gathers. So to attach it to the flare, you're just going to be attaching it on that 1.5 you came down from and half inch below the hem of the flare. So after attaching, guys, this is what it looks like. So right now you can also see the front part. I've gone ahead to attach the ruffle. So right now we'll go ahead and join the shoulders together. So to join the shoulders together, just place the front on the back, right side facing. So after that, you're just going to matching the shoulders together. Then you're just going to be turning with this lining. So the lining, you're just going to turn it to the front like the way I'm doing. Just go ahead and stitch it. The purpose is for us to have a neat finishing at the shoulder. We are also going to be shaping the side. So the only thing you need is the bust measurement. Go ahead and place in your bust measurement because this gown is not going to be tight. It's going to be free. Then add 1 inch for ease. After dividing my bust, I added 1 inch for ease. Then I stitch it all the way down to the hem. Also going to be doing the same thing for the other side. Place what you have, your bust measurement, and just take it down to the hem. You can see after stitching the shoulders, you can see how it's looking like, and this is the side. So when stitching the side, just follow the shape of the flare. So now you're going to be trimming out the armhole so that we'll be able to attach our sleeve. So to do that, just from the shoulder, come down by your armhole length. Mine is 7.5. You can see me marking it there. 7.5. So also right at the shoulder, I'm just going to be going in by 0.25. Go in by 0.25. Then you curve your armhole like so. Go ahead and cut it out. So after cutting, guys, you can see what it looks like. It's all clean and neat. So it's time for us to attach our sleeve. To do that, you are just going to be placing the sleeve seam right on the dress seam, just like this, seam to seam, right side facing each other. So also at that middle of the sleeve, you are going to be placing it at the shoulder part. So after placing it right there, you are also going to be pleating the excess right there. You can see there still excess fabric. You are going to be pleating that excess fabric because this is a puff sleeve. So guys, after attaching my sleeve, you can see what I have. So after this tutorial, I'm going to be weaving all these rough edges you can see right here. So I also went ahead to cut out this piece of fabric. This is going to be for the belt. Is a full tape. For the wideness is a full tape, and the length is 4 inches. So you can see how I joined my fabrics because it wasn't enough for me. So I'm just going to be folding it like this, and I'm going to be stitching it down. So after stitching, guys, this is what it is. Then I'm going to be turning it out from the space I left because I actually stitched at the ends. So I left this tiny space where I'll be turning it over to the right side. So after turning, just go ahead and stitch up that part and give it a good press. So guys, we are almost done with this dress. You can see how beautiful it's coming out. I really like the style. So just let me know what you think about the style. Do you also like it? So right now I want to attach my pocket, and to do that, from the armhole, just go down by 6 inches or 6.5 inches. Then from that 6.5, just go down by 8 inches. So that is where the pocket is going to stop, at that 8 inches. So right now, you're just going to open up the seam like so, and you're going to be placing your pocket right side facing right side. That is, the right side of the pocket will be facing the right side of the seam for the dress. Go ahead and stitch those parts. I'm also going to be doing the same thing for this other pocket. Just going to be placing it like so, right side facing. Then I'll be pinning it down so that it will not move, it will stay in place. Then you're just going to be stitching it up to that part we notch, that 8 inches we notch. Going to be sewing it like so. So guys, after stitching, this is what it looks like. You can see how it's looking like. I'm gonna head to stitch it up to that part we notched. So what we are going to do is we are going to be sewing down the two pockets together like so. So these places I marked are the place where you are going to be running your stitches. So you'll be running stitches through this part where I marked down. So you can see what we have. Just going to be stitching it all the way. So when you get to that part, just fold it in a bit. Just stitch like this and all the way to this part. So after stitching down the pocket, now right at this first seam, as you see, you're going to be ripping it open. So just go ahead and rip it open. So after sewing it, this is what it looks like. You can see how neat the pocket is. You can hardly tell if there is a pocket right at the seam. So this is how to attach your pockets. So you can see at these rough edges, I'm going to be weaving it, I'm going to be serging it, or whatsoever you call it. So this is it. This is the end of the tutorial, guys. This is how beautiful this came out. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for always being there. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your care. I so much appreciate. I didn't take it for granted. Thank you for stopping by. See you in my next video. Bye.
In the pool, talk to you, dripping wet. Nervous when I speak, so I trip on my